let's get talking about the markets. We have Sanjay Parekh, founder and CIO of Sohum Asset Managers, who's joining in now. Sanjay, hi, welcome to the show. Well, we seem to have got our momentum back this week. Do you think that we've, shrugged off the geopolitical concerns and now we're probably going to see a new leg of an upside for the Nifty? And if so, what are the targets?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is, of course, the risk has reduced globally, but, valuations are not cheap. So as the market rises, it gets tough for us because we are value seekers. Our strategy is growth at reasonable price, and now there is growth, but not at reasonable price. So we need to dig hard and look for ideas. There are ideas, but we really have to dig hard. On markets, on a top-down on Nifty, if you go by consensus earnings, even on 27 at 1300 to 1320, we're not cheap at around 19 times. So we need to be cognizant of that, and certainly be stock specific. But our point is that we need to have much higher margin of safety, be it the market or the stocks.
All right. With the market, you said that you got to dig hard, but there are some ideas. Can you throw some light on where these ideas are, and if you can take some names specifically, some sectors, narrow it down for our viewers?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we just discussed in our team that, there will be ideas even larger cap and middle and small cap space, and we just have to dig them hard. So, last 2 months back, we bought Sirma in the EMS space. Earlier, Polycap was also at a good price. We used to own InterArc, and we recently even increased that further. Or a pump company recently, we just got listed, Oswald Pump, we added. So there are ideas, and these are all reasonable valuation, high growth, high ROC, high ROE, which works well for us, and reasonable on valuation. So it's just that, as I said, there are opportunities, not enough, but one will have to dig hard and look for them.
Hi Sanjay, good afternoon, good to see you in. Not going to talk about metals today, but what about the paint industry? Mangalam has been analyzing all through the day the big deal that's been announced. A smaller player got bigger because they've taken over AkzoNobel, and then we have the JSW Group parentage as well. How do you see things shape up out there? Today you have a big deal that's announced, and it's not just the one that's part of the deal. The entire sector is higher. It's been a big underperforming sector, by the way. But yeah, would you look at getting into any of them?
Yeah, so Nigel, certainly you all have covered it very well today. So I don't know how much value I can add, but I'll just tell you how we think. So competition is going to remain intense, So you have Grasim as a player, and we own that. Who is not going to sit with the market share it has today? It's a huge if you take the capacity share, it's pretty large. So I think that intense competition will continue. This is one good consolidation, and the overall demand is yet to recover meaningfully. You got 1 month doing better, but as you can see, you take any parameters, still the slowdown is persistent. So I think the implied growth in Asian Paints has now come off quite well. So earlier, and we look at DCF for such companies, and in such companies, the DCF implied growth was coming at 17-18% long term, while they've not done in the last few years. Now it's come off quite well. So at the point, we certainly are on a watch. We don't own it, but we certainly will positively look if, the leader, Asian Paints right now, we can look at adding at a price. But we're not added yet, as yet.
Okay. All right. Well, Sanjay, the other bit of news which was that IndusInd Bank could probably get a new CEO. What's your take? Do you think that there's a long road to recovery there, but it could start with a change in the management?
It will be according to me, it is a very, very big positive. First, all the three candidates are very good. Be it governance, their own pedigree, the track record, where they work. So it's going to be a very big positive according to me. Secondly, I don't think further cleanup is required. At least I have that view. We own a bit. So if you take the book value, coming to the back to the book value last 25, we ended at around 820 rupees. I could be off a little bit. Even if it takes a slow recovery, this year, let's say they end at 870, 880, and then the new person who comes in gets holds of the grip of the whole bank and gets back to growth. And then we're talking of book value at 970, 980, which will have maybe ROEs of 12, but could look better in 28. Now, that is where the re-rating can happen because it's the fifth largest bank and it will instill a lot of confidence to shareholders, employees, but also the deposit holders. So I think it's a very big positive. RBI has been very, very supportive. Of course, on the backstage. And once the approval comes, I'm sure this will, the worst is behind for IndusInd Bank.
Sanjay, you spoke about, entering Syrma SGS, you having looked at Oswal pumps as well, perhaps entering that too, and looking at Asian Paints right now, as you believe that, valuations have become a little more attractive than what they were earlier. Yeah. Where have you sold or lightened your positions?
Yeah, so, we have a very strict price value equation that we have. So we have from each of our companies, the value that we have for 27. And at times price have moved up quite sharply. So even in cases like we've discussed today, we would have trimmed our exposure, not Oswal, but in Syrma also where our weight was very high. So in certain cases, we do trim our exposure, but our core holding remains. So that is what we're doing. That in one of the real estate exposure we have again. Which we like. So we want to have a core holding, but you can always trim a bit because that's important because when you have bad times, you do get a time to look and increase our exposure and volatility is quite high. So, as I said, we have a strict discipline that if the price far exceeds our assessment of value, we certainly will act either completely selling out or at least trimming a bit. And that's what we've done in a lot of stocks.
Any defense stocks that have trimmed a little bit? We have some news flashing on the screen. Mazagon Dock, they have they've approved the acquisition of Colombo Dockyard PLC for approximately 452 crores. Talking about trimming down, time to trim or defense, or you want to go on the offense on the defense stocks?
We missed it. We missed the defense rally directly. Of course, if you take a part of Larsen and Toubro, it's a very small part. So that's how we own it, but otherwise, direct exposure to defense, we've missed it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sanjay, for joining in, filling us in with all of those details. Wishing you a good Friday evening, solid weekend ahead as well, and we catch up soon. Well, that piece of